Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today we're going to do a quick video on how to take cuttings from Roselle. Now, I grew some Roselle last year in my grow room, and I'll link a video up on top that shows you exactly what happened with that Roselle. It was a lot of fun growing it. We actually got it to flower indoors and harvested calyxes and everything. Well, I grew it outside in a pot over the summer, and it did really well. It grew beautifully. It was starting to form buds, so I took it inside because cold weather is coming. And I either damaged the roots taking it inside because it was huge, or I overwatered it or something, and it did not survive. There is actually one branch of it left, so we're just going to leave it and see if we can get it to come back. But just in case we can't get it to come back, we are going to take a few more cuttings. And let me show you the Roselle plants that we're going to take cuttings off. Now we have two Roselle plants back here. Here's one that's starting to get flowers. You can see these little maroon things are flower buds, but they are not going to have time to ripen because we're actually going to see freezing weather in a week, and they're not going to flower within the next week. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut some ends off of these and stick them in pots and see if we can get them to grow. Now, I'm not an expert in taking cuttings, but I've done it in the past and had it work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a long cutting right down. I don't know if you can see this. This is called a node. This is where the leaf comes out and you get new growth. So I'm going to cut it just above that. And we're going to take 4 of them today and do the exact same thing. Just above a lower node. Now with some plants, when you take cuttings, you need to take old wood cuttings, like wood that grew last year. These plants are all new. These are actually plants that I grew from seed that I harvested off the plant that I grew indoors. I actually was able to get it to produce seed, and this is what came of it. None of this wood is old wood. It's all new wood. Some wood, you're required to take cuttings off new wood, and obviously, because this worked last year, Roselle plants can be propagated off of new wood. Now the next thing that I did is I went and got some pots. I put some potting soil, just regular potting soil. This is Pro Mix potting soil, in 4-inch pots. Now I'm going to make holes in them as deep as I want to insert my cuttings. I just use my finger. You could use anything, a stick, a pen, anything you'd like. They even have dibbles for this kind of things. Okay, so we have the holes in there that the cuttings are going to go in. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove several leaves and get rid of the grasshopper that's on here. Yeah, we're not bringing a grasshopper inside. So we got rid of the grasshopper. Now we're going to get rid of the leaves. So we're going to cut, not tear, we're going to cut the leaves off of here. And the only leaves that I'm going to leave are the small leaves up at the top. I'm not going to top this one this time. The very next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use rooting hormone. We're going to dip the cutting in rooting hormone. Make sure it has good contact with it. Now, it's not necessary every time to use rooting hormone when you're trying to root plants. It just helps. So then we're going to stick it in the hole and firm it down. So there we have one cutting. So let's get the rest of them done. So now that we've got our cuttings done, let's take them inside and get them under a humidity dome. So now we're back inside. We've got the cuttings into a tray, and we've got the dome out. Let me show you what's going on with my Roselle. This entire thing was covered in leaves just 2 days ago when I moved it in. There's still some that looks almost alive, but it's starting to die back. So we're just going to wait and see what happens with it. It's all wilting. There's a possibility I overwatered it, because I tried to flush out all the pots before I brought them in, hose them all down, and that may have been what happened with this. So we have our little cuttings in the tray. We're just going to take this lid. This is a cutting tray with a dome that I bought off of I think it's Greenhouse Megastore. That I bought off Greenhouse Megastore. So we're just going to put the lid on. It's a little short, but I think it'll be just fine. They're just barely touching the top of the lid. So we're going to leave these in here until we start seeing new growth, which will mean that they've started to root. And we're going to put them under lights, and I think they'll fit just right next to the onions that I just transplanted. We're going to keep, so this kind of lid has a little vent. We're going to keep the vents closed until they've started rooting. So anyway, hopefully this will work. Calcifer, no, drop it. No, you cannot eat leaves like that. Oh my heavens, I need to learn to keep the door closed when I'm working in here. Calcifer can be a little bit of a mess. He's very cute, but no. Here, let's hold him. So I'm going to need to end this quickly. I need to corral this little kitty. He is very difficult to corral. He loves to get into everything. So I'm going to go put my cuttings up on the rack, and hopefully we'll have rooted Roselle cuttings. Now, once they start rooting and have rooted well, you know, when I can pull them out of the pot and see that they've rooted well, I'm going to stick them in gallon pots. I'm not going to leave them for very long in the 4-inch pots. I hope this video has been helpful. I would love to hear if you've rooted any cuttings. We're going to try rooting figs as soon as they've gone dormant, and we're going to see how that works. So let me know what you've been rooting and what successes you've had. I'd love to hear about that. And if my videos have been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share them with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure. Okay, we are done. Don't get into any other thing like clean up, okay?